Poppy Playtime is a game that encourages its audience to look past artificial appearance and try to view its mascots as people. Living people with ambitions, hopes, and fears. People that want security and safety. People that want to live a normal life. People that have been mentally broken by their environment. People that have been turned into violent monsters that relish in the pain of others. And even people with seemingly no mind, but so much humanity in their existence, in all the small, subtle ways. Every Poppy character has something about them that reflects human nature. None of their forced programming made them act like a one-noted toy, or a mascot, or a silly character. They all act like real people that have been put through mind-numbing trauma, each trying to find a purpose to an existence they were forced into. From orphans with dreams of new life, to toys living in a perpetual darkness, their blind innocence eventually turning into rebellious depravity, and from that depravity, something new was born. Something that mocks the very concept of their existence as people now. A Poppy Playtime character that acts like a Playtime Co. mascot. Lily Lovebraids. What a character. And believe me, I did not expect to be able to say that. But the way her narrative is handled in tandem to the chapter's overall tone is wonderful. Everything about her is the direct opposite of what the series has laid out in terms of storytelling. This toy believes she's nothing more than just that, a toy. The place she lives in is fantastical in nature. She has imaginary friends. She talks so silly. The things that motivate her are so cut and dry. She's fed and given what she needs to survive without fighting for it. She gets childishly jealous over things. She acts like a child because a child is what they've made her. And that's what's so interesting to me. It creates such an intriguing dynamic with the prototype. But before we get there, I wanted to cover other aspects of her character, specifically the Miss Gracie portion. Alright, so this woman was a horrible person, plain and simple. She aided in the mass brainwashing of mutilated orphans and contributed to the death of some of them as well, all without a wink of guilt in her. Her segments in Chapter 5 are haunting, and for good reason. That makes her comeuppance, however, all the more satisfying. Through the hours of footage she produced to erase the memories of orphan children, she too was erased. It's an ironic cruelty that is much deserved. Gracie's identity being taken away day by day by Gracie herself, in a body that she endorsed as beautiful once, that she claimed to have loved once, an existence and motivation that defined her fake character. Now, it slowly bleeds its way into her actual way of thinking. After over 100 days of the same monotonous brain-mushing slop, she breaks. Her struggle with retaining her human identity is washed out as this one-noted girl bubbles out of her. A childish toy obsessed with friendship, tea parties, and crumpets. Miss Gracie is gone. It's a fantastic way to end a character so cruel. But what we're left with is someone who does not resemble the perpetrator of those crimes at all. Someone essentially innocent. And this is where the question of her character lies. What should become of Lily? Should she be allowed to live normally? Should she die for something she technically didn't do? Well, let's see. The prototype decided to put her in isolation, condemning her for a past that she doesn't know about, yet refusing to outright kill her for it. Despite this, Lily has nothing but an adoration for him. No matter what the prototype does to her, she bounces back to him like a puppy. 9 years of isolation, fine. Not regarding her with any sort of care, fine. Refusing to acknowledge her outright, fine. Her motivation remains simple. She wants friends. She was born in the belief that in her life, she would have friends. Playtime friends, mascots just like her. Yet she's been denied that time and time again for reasons she fundamentally cannot control. This makes her dynamic with the player all the more interesting. It's implied that she has limited knowledge of the happenings in the factory. She's jealous of and despises Poppy and anyone allied with her. Yet she's friendly with us because she doesn't have the whole picture. All that she knows is that we killed Dowie, someone who went against the prototype, so we must be a good toy. And this simple way of thinking follows our dynamic with her. She lets us freely roam her house, gather up her friends, and interact with her stuff. The only times you'll see anything that isn't joy from her is the stuff she says through Candy, and even all that is somewhat mild-mannered.
We should kill them.
Most of the time. Speaking of which, Candy. She basically serves as the parts of Lily that she deems not appealing, or in other words, things that go against her programming. snarky comments or anger that she forcefully shoves away. It's heartbreaking. She has no clue why everybody hates her, so she strictly follows the rules of all that she knows, being a good toy. You can see this in her journal entry. The propaganda she was made of is all that she knows, yet no one else seems to follow behind it. She's the only one who knows the tune. The others scream and cry at her, and she doesn't know why. When her anger rightfully does boil up at the situation she's in, she punishes herself for it. She uses her favorite poster to cover a hole she punched through a wall, all in hopes of keeping up appearances for someone that could care less about her. She repeatedly mentions this hole and how she hopes the prototype won't notice it.
Do you think the poster is enough to hide it? Shh, we have guests here, Candy.
Something that is in the very back of her house, hidden by a bookshelf and then a poster. She thinks he cares this much about her because his cruelty towards her has to be for a reason, right? She has the mind of a child.
Why can't we go to a better place, Lily? Well, when our guest arrives, maybe he'll be so happy he'll invite all of us.
She thinks being a good toy and planning this party for him will redeem her in his eyes, when the truth is, his judgment of her was made before she was even born. He despises her. He forces her to live in monotony. Her environment is surrounded by cutouts that embrace self-expression, yet her outfits are all duplicates of each other. It's enough to drive anyone mad, nonetheless someone with the mannerisms of a child. And that's what makes her relationship with Miss Gracie's skeleton all the more sad. Her only friend is the monument of all the reasons she's outcasted. Every word that came out of this woman's mouth is what Lily comforts herself with in isolation. Words that doomed her to it to begin with. And it's even worse because she clearly sees herself in Miss Gracie, someone that believed the exact same thing she believes and was outcast into a junkyard for it. She's figuratively and literally talking to herself here, protecting someone else from the cruelty she's been subjected to. It's so awful. After the player betrays her trust, Candy starts to get paranoid. Eventually, Lily lashes out at us for taking and breaking her things. Fast forward over the gameplay sequence, and we're at the part I want to talk about most. The tea party. Lily kinda takes a back seat here because, oh my god, the prototype. But her character moments here are also very important. We get to see the Candy persona kinda fall apart here, as her anger at Poppy stops bleeding from Candy's mouth and starts pouring out of hers. Her jealousy is so evident and dripping in its childlike tone. She gets her first real evil moment here. She relishes in the idea that these people are going to be punished for trying to take away her potential life, take away all that she's worked for. The prototype will finally see reason and punish Poppy for being a bad toy.
Oh, please rescue the orphans. Oh, please blow up the whole factory and burn everyone alive. Oh. Our special guest is here.
Lily. Oh man. This poor character. This neglected girl. The prototype tears apart her home, making the hole she was worried about completely negligible. He then just straight up ignores her. He immediately darts over to Poppy. Then, when she tries to join in the conversation, the prototype shuts her down again by making something she put so much effort into maintaining meaningless. Suppressing her anger meant nothing to him, and this frustrates her. She tries to make it obvious, like a child, then looks at the prototype for his reaction. Nothing. He even goes as far as to completely block her out of focus, which prompts her to move somewhere else. Then, once the prototype breaks Poppy, Lily sees it not as an accident, but as a punishment. Everything that Poppy deserved being delivered to her. She tries to join in, both for herself and the prototype's approval, only to be once again shut down, violently. This infuriates her, and who does she take it out on? Her abuser? Or the people who infuriated her abuser? Duh, it's us. Her chase sequence is chock full of references to the bad toy box. In her mind, the worst place a toy can go. She really is just having a tantrum the whole time, which is to her character's benefit, don't get me wrong. Her death, though, is what makes this sequence so special to me. First, oh my god, the score for this is fantastic. But what's even better is the fact that she doesn't revert back to Miss Gracie. The ID and skeleton could have easily been an excuse for her to have a dramatic final line as Miss Gracie, but she stays as Lily. The most important thing to Lily in this moment is that even after letting you come into her house and joining her at her tea party, you betrayed her. It's so juvenile, and the background track highlights this. This is something you'd play for a grand, dramatic death.
I let you into my house! I let you come to my tea party!
Something that you should be happy about. Miss Gracie's death. The reality, however, is that it's being used over the death of an abused child, and that's the power in this sequence to me. It ultimately functions to show you that this experiment had the mind of a child until the end. Miss Gracie did not exist in her. This is what makes Lily's death to me. Mommy died while she pleaded for her life. Catnap faithfully sacrificed himself to his god. Doey beat himself up over something out of his control, relived horrible trauma, before apologizing to everyone he had failed. And Lily died desperately clinging on to the only life she knew, not knowing that doing so was going to kill her one way or another. I also just want to appreciate the animation, directing, and especially voice acting here. I know people were sad that she wasn't gutted alive or whatever, but there is a profound awfulness to this in itself. Watching her desperately grab onto that cloud and then fall really did something to me. She functionally did nothing wrong. She was only against us because one of the only people she knew was. For all she knew, Poppy wanted to destroy everything Lily ever knew. And I mean, that's true, she did. For me, all I can see in this sequence is a misguided little girl falling to her death. I'm glad it isn't more gruesome, because Lily does not deserve something worse. She lived in the shadow of a legacy she had no control over. She was emotionally abused and neglected, used, and then left to die. In my opinion, this is where they should leave her story. There was never a place for innocence in this hell long defined. And I think that's a point people miss when talking about character deaths in this series. Each and every one of them is purposely written to convey something to the audience. It's not just an excuse to shelf a character. Except for Yarnaby, that one hurt. Lily is a cruel mockery of the experiments. A sheltered toy with nothing but whimsy in her heart, and an innocence that none of the other experiments have left. A gift that they wish they could have was given to the woman who mentally toyed with them for years. And even worse, she still spouts the same nonsense she did before, just now a victim to it. This character was doomed from the moment she was created, forced into a lifetime of questioning why the people that should be her friends hate her. She's trapped, comforting herself with the only things she knows, the only things that have shown kindness to her. Her only hope for better existed in the monster that made her this way. Lily fundamentally was a child of neglect, punished for things out of her control. She became obsessed with all the tiny details about her life that would explain why she was being treated this way, when the truth is, nothing she did or could do would ever make them change their minds about her. She existed in the shadow of something she had no control over.